we did a restart. It's not a big deal.
All testing candidates in the Amateur Science Extended Relaxation Center must be
Oh,
revived periodically
the
according
tournament
to our physical
started
and mental wellness
on
exercises.
the 21st of
You will
January,
hear a buzzer. When you hear the buzzer,
which
look up at the
is
ceiling.
3 months ago. I think we would have preferred
Good.
if it
You will hear a
was
buzzer. When you hear the buzzer, look down at
if
the
it was
floor.
earlier that we got to this point, like
Good.
early
This
April,
completes the gymnastic
March.
portion of your
But
mandatory
we kind
physical and
of
mental wellness
got a little
exercise.
bit lax on
There is a
the
framed painting on the wall.
time
Please go stand in front
restraints
of it.
when there were a bunch of people in the losers bracket, and as a result, races started happening a lot slower.
This is art. You will
Kojo,
hear a buzzer. When you hear the buzzer,
that's rare.
stare at the
Okay.
art.
Kojo just got a rare 5-second time loss. I've seen
You
it
should now feel
once
mentally reinvigorated.
on
If you
myself.
suspect staring at art has not been
He
enough
was
to
looking
inspire
at the
intellectual
painting.
sustenance, reflect briefly on
Well,
this
let me actually make
milestone
sure it was
result.
Xinera. I believe it was. No, yeah, it was cojosao. You're supposed to look at the painting, obviously. He
Good.
tells you to,
Now
and
please
you
return
need
to
to
your
actually
bed.
look at it to get progress. I don't know exactly what causes it, but you can look at the painting and not have it
Reporter,
trigger.
you have been in suspension for
It's really
nine,
stupid.
nine, nine, nine,
And
nine.
Kojo,
Courtesy call is
Hello?
now the
Anyone there?
second time I've ever seen it,
Oh God,
fantastic.
you look good. Looking good, actually. Are you
I
okay? Are you?
expect to come back from this.
Answer that. I'm
So
absolutely sure
where
you're fine.
he goes,
There's plenty of time for you to recover. Just take it slow.
Please prepare for emergency evacuation.
Stay calm. Stay calm. Prepare. That's what I'm
but
saying. Prepare.
again,
Fine.
we're
All right.
going to be
Don't move.
spending
I'm gonna get us out of here.
5 minutes
You
hanging
might
out
want to hang
here.
on to something. Word of advice.
At
Up
the
to you.
start, I already did my whole spiel with regards to the tournament and the players, which is a bit unfortunate.
You all right
Guess
down
you talk a
there?
bit quickly
Can you
about
hear
the
me?
actual category that they'll be
Hello?
running. Category being no delay. Now,
Most test
the old
subjects do
category, the
experience
category that
some
used to be made
cognitive
was
fatigue
SS or single
after a few months in
segment,
suspension.
which meant you
Now
can't
you've
quick
been
save or
under
quick load.
for quite a lot
I believe
longer,
that was an
and it's
artifact
not
of
out of the
the
question
Speed Demos
that you might have a
archive
very
days,
minor
and
case of serious
we
brain
just got tired
damage.
of that,
But don't be
so this
alarmed, all right?
January we
Although if you
changed
do if you
that,
do feel alarmed, try to hold on to that feeling
and as
because
a
that is the
result,
proper reaction
the
to
new
being
category is
told
no
that you've got
SLA.
brain
It stands
damage.
for
Do you
no
understand
save
what
load
I'm saying?
abuse,
At all? Does any of this
and it
make any
means you can
sense?
save
Just
load,
tell me.
but
Just
you
say
can't do
yes.
anything to abuse it.
Okay, what you're doing there is
And
jumping.
effectively, all that did
You just
was
jumped.
make
But never mind. Say
SS
apple.
single segment
Apple.
with quick saves,
Okay, you know what? That's close enough.
which I
Just
think
hold tight.
was an interesting idea.
All
And I
reactors
think
or safeguards
overall,
are now non-functional.
with that in this
Please prepare
tournament, we
for
got a
reactor core meltdown.
quite a big peak in popularity for this game,
Okay,
and
look,
I'm
I
glad for
wasn't going to
that.
mention this to you, but I'm
The
in pretty
it's
hot
slowed
water
down
here.
now
How
that
you doing
no
down
SLA
there?
is
Still holding
established
on?
and
The
the
reserve
tournament's at
power ran
the
out, so of
end,
course the whole relaxation
or
centre
well, not the
stops
end, but
waking up the
the
bloody test
end
subject.
half of it, where there's less
Hold
people
on,
playing.
this is a bit tricky.
But
And of course,
still
nobody tells me
nice to see.
anything.
I'm glad that
No,
this
one
game
doesn't
still
tell
has
me
some
anything.
energy in it.
What should
This is
I
going
be
to be a bit
dreadful for?
jarring. We're
You
going
know
to
about the
switch the
non-functions of
audio
the
just because Xinera
10,000
is
bloody
technically
test
ahead.
subjects I'm supposed to be in charge of.
I don't know
Just
when
gotta
that's
get
going
through here.
to... There you go.
I just can't
The audio
concentrate.
balance is a bit weird.
And
Oh,
whose
I don't
fault
think
do
that's
you
too
think
much
it's
of an
gonna
issue,
be
though.
when the management comes down here and finds 10,000 flipping vegetables? Alright,
But yeah,
so,
I
are you
really
all
don't have much else to say because we had extra
okay,
time to do
listen, we can
commentary, and I
start
ran out
right
of the
away.
filler.
If anyone
So if anyone
asks, and
has
no one's gonna
any
ask, don't worry.
questions they'd like
If
to
anyone
have
asks,
answered, just in
tell them as
general
far as
about
you
the
know
game and the
that
speed
last time you
run,
checked, everyone was
feel free to
left
ask,
alive. Alright? Not
and
dead.
I will be happy to provide an
Okay,
answer.
almost there. On the other side of that wall is one of the old testing tracks. There's a piece of equipment in there that we're going to need to get out of here. I think this is a docking station. Get ready. Good news, that is not a docking station. So there's one mystery solved. I'm going to attempt a manual override.
Didn't know about the
This time.
comic until recently,
Okay,
just read it
oh,
this week.
hold on.
I did not know about the comic.
Almost there.
Do you mean
Remember,
for...
you're looking for a
I
clue
know
on
the
the next wall.
musical,
Not
which is
wonderful,
also
but don't
pretty
worry, you'll figure it out. Seriously, hold
hilarious.
on this time.
But I've never read the comic. Might be interesting. I might want to look into it.
Hello, and again, welcome to the Aperture Science Enrichment
has a bit
Center.
of the story between the two
You're currently
games.
experiencing
Now
technical
that's
difficulties due to
interesting
circumstances
because
potentially
Mel also
apocalyptic
kind of
scenarios
does that, and
beyond
I'm
our
wondering
control.
if they
However,
parallel well.
thanks to
I
emergency
do kind of
testing
want to look at that a
protocols,
little bit
testing can
because I do
continue.
love
These
Mel,
pre-recorded messages
the
will provide
mod
instructional and motivational
for
support
no the
so that science can still be
what would I
done,
call it?
even in the event of
I guess I'd call
environmental,
it a
social,
mod slash
economic, or
map
structural
pack,
collapse.
but it's like an extra
Prepare
story
away,
thing.
and emergency testing will begin in
Uh,
3, 2,
anyway,
1.
we're done with cutscenes. Let's get into some gameplay. So here we're gonna start with
Button-based testing remains the
pretty
most serious task,
straightforward
even in a dire
forward
emergency.
section.
Please note
You're
that
just
the
placing a button on the
incandescent particle
thing.
field
You'll notice that he
outside the center with this
stood in
Aperture
front of
Science
the door
material
for a little
investigation
bit.
drill will
You'll
vaporize any
notice
unauthorized material
as we
that
play
enters
that
the field.
dialogue is going to be extremely important. And the reason for that is because of the way that elevators work. And to just put it briefly, the elevator, as it goes down, it has
If you feel liquid
checkpoints
running down your neck,
where it
fear
checks if
not.
dialogue is
Lie on
playing.
your
And
back
if
and
dialogue
feel
is
immediate
not
pressure from your
playing, then
temples.
it fades.
You are simply
Now, what we're
experiencing a
trying to
rare
do with the
reaction in which the
dialogue is
material
make
once
it
hidden below
so.
may have
First of all, we
emerged
want to
and
have
appear to
less
you
dialogue,
inside your head.
generally. Less is better because you have to wait less time before the elevator fades. But also, as you will see on this map, as you'll see, he's going to stand in front of the elevator, and the reason being is he wants to
This
time
environment is
the dialogue to
unsupervised.
end
The
right when
only
he hits one
commitment
of
is
those
relaxation
checkpoints.
vault at the conclusion of
And
testing.
in doing that,
Please
he
take a
can
moment to
finish the
confirm the
level as
results of
soon
your
as the
test.
dialogue ends,
Aperture
rather than
Science
waiting a
Integration
couple of
Associate will invite you
seconds.
for an interview when society has been rebuilt.
You'll see that be done a lot, especially in the early game.
If the Earth is
It
currently governed by
also a lot
American
at the end
law,
game, but I think a
Italian
little
law, or other
less.
governing
Just
body
because I
relatively
think it's
refuses to
kind
or
of
is
the
incapable of.
elevators are
Hey, you ready?
different, and when there's no elevator, you just don't care. This map,
Portal gun?
straight movement for a lot of it. Another dialogue trick here, and this one's actually pretty important.
Do you know what I'm gonna do? I'm
Your
gonna
goal is
this
to
up to
skip an
you.
announcer dialogue, and we do this by having Wheatley talk over him. This saves like 10
If you feel that a lethal
seconds
military handgun is
overall
not
because it
respecting your
skips a
right to curtail in the laws of
whole
robotics, please note
dialogue.
it on your self-reporting form.
Now, obviously,
A
he still
future Aperture Science
talks,
Entitlement
but
Associate will
that's
initiate the appropriate
just a different
release route
dialogue,
paperwork.
and you get that either way. So good.
This next test is very dangerous. To help you remain tranquil in the face of almost certain death, smooth jazz will be deployed in
Now
3,
coming up,
2, 1.
more simple stuff. It's pretty straightforward. This
You're
he's going to
exposed.
clip the cube as you saw
The exit door
through
is now
the
open.
door just there. To activate a soft lock dialogue because you can soft lock there quite easily. And we can just use that to have the door open for us. Pretty good. Now coming up is another tomb mechanics that are
If the enrichment center is already
fairly
being
that are
bombarded with
generally
fireballs,
important.
meteorites,
You'll see them
or
twice in
other
a row.
objects
The
from space,
first one is the
please
portal
avoid
stand seen
unscheduled
here,
testing areas wherever a lack of
and then the
structural
cube grab
security
see
is
there.
well done. The enrichment
So the
center
portal
reminds you
stand,
that
when
although
you're in a
circumstances may
portal
appear
and you
bleak,
shoot,
you are not alone.
the game tries to generally
Aperture
push you
Science
out of
Center's
the
nuclear
portal.
constructs will remain
The
functional,
portal stand is
and
us
providing a
counteracting it,
low-power environment
basically.
requires you as one
Not very
bright gun
complicated.
holds.
And the cube grab is just having the cube fall through the portal and then shooting the portal towards you so you can grab it.
This next test applies the
Not too
principles
big. You
of
can probably
motion
figure out what's
continually in
happening
true
just
physics.
from
The
watching
laws of
it.
physics
And
will
again, you
always
get a
govern the
replay,
future.
which is
God
nice.
help you.
Xinera did not get it, unfortunately. He got that accidentally, which is very interesting.
You
That
are
is a
now an
known
enemy who
fling
has
that you
discovered
can
this
do.
facility amid the
You usually
ruins of
don't see it
civilization.
because the
Welcome.
cube grab is
And remember,
not
testing
hard.
is the future. And the future starts with
But I'm
you.
glad that this race has been very good for odd stuff thus far overall with Kojasao's container ride and that. I'm thoroughly
Well
enjoying it.
worth getting this far, future starter. That said, if you are simple-minded, bold, or irradiated in such a way that the future should not start with you, please return to your primitive tribe
Now
and
coming
select
up
someone more
is
qualified
one
for
of
testing.
the first major skips saves about 30 seconds. And there are 2 phases to it this time. Now Kojo's ahead
To
now.
ensure that sufficient
I guess
power
because
reaches
of
the
the,
core protocols, all safety
Actually,
devices
no,
have
it's
been
because
deployed.
Xinera messed up.
Management
I will
still
switch
respects your
audio.
right to have questions
Actually, no,
about
I
these
won't,
things
because
about this
Kojo just
power.
messed up.
Hey! Aye, aye.
So the first step is to get on top of the roof. And the reason you want to get on top of the roof is you want to keep that portal in the first room there.
Okay, listen, let me
Because if you just
lay
go
something on
right
you.
through it, the portal disappears, so you can't go back to the first room.
Never, ever to disengage
So
myself
that's the
until
first
I
step.
manage the
Make sure you have
railway.
that. And the reason we do
Done
that
with
is
it.
so we
But
can get
we're in
back into the
operations
first
here,
room,
so get ready to catch
as
me.
you will see.
All right?
And that'll
Give
let
me a chance
us
that I'm not
snipe to
dead
the
the
end
moment
of the
I
level.
pop off this thing.
He's waiting here
On
just
3.
because he needs to get
Ready?
some dialogue first.
1,
Otherwise, Wheatley doesn't
2,
fall.
3. That's high. It's
But
way
now he's
too
ready.
high, isn't it? Really, that. All right, going on 3 just gives you too much time to think.
And once
Let's
Wheatley
start going one
falls
this time.
through his
Okay, ready?
portal,
1. Catch me, catch. Ow.
go through nice and easy.
I'm not dead. I'm not dead. Plug me into that stick on the wall over there. And I'll
Already,
show you something. You'll be...
should mention, already a pretty turbulent
Yes. We're
race.
not stopping.
We've already
Fire
had
away.
2 lead
Oh, thanks. Very
switches.
good. Appreciate it.
It's always fun to see. Just lets you know how interesting this race could be. But again, it all depends on how both
Try to
players
bring me up
play.
to speed on something right now. In
Now,
order to
this
escape,
map
we're gonna have to
is
go through
just
her
straight B
door,
hop.
and she will probably kill us
Not
if she's
not much to
awake.
commentate on there.
Okay.
And then following it is another
Okay,
2-minute
I don't want to go in
cutscene.
there. Don't go in.
But don't worry too bad, because after this cutscene,
There she
there will
is.
not be another
What a
cutscene
nasty
until
piece of work
chapter
she is, seriously.
5,
Like a proper maniac.
which
You know.
is a good ways
Still
away.
held. Still being
Not
held.
terribly far, but you know, it's a good gap of
Sorry, I just need to.
pure
I do not recommend it.
skilled content. Believe me, there's a lot of places to
This
mess up
is
in
the
the
main
chapters 2 through
breaker room.
4.
Look for a switch that says escape pod. All right, don't touch anything else. Not interested in anything else. Don't touch anything else. Don't even look at anything else. Just well, obviously got to look at everything else.
Once again, since it's a cutscene point,
It doesn't say escape pod.
I don't
So go
believe.
look at the next thing.
Usually,
Don't
when I
touch
say
anything
this,
else
it
or
doesn't
we'll look at other things.
yield
So
much.
you
But
understand?
if there's any
Can you see it anywhere?
questions
I can't see it anywhere.
about the game, feel free to
Turn the
ask.
lights on. Let there be light.
This cutscene will be introduced to a couple of important characters to the story. You'll probably recognize both of them if you've played the first one. Actually, maybe not maybe not the other one.
Okay, no, don't worry, don't worry.
I don't actually know.
Slow it down. No, makes it go faster.
People care about
Uh-oh.
Hoopy for
Power up initiated.
the first game, do they?
All right, stop panicking. I can still stop this.
Xinera just immediately throws Hoopy away.
I'll just hack it. Not a problem.
Some sort of blasphemy, but at least he grabbed it. So the run's not dead for him.
Wait, did I do B? Start writing these down.
Power up complete.
I don't. Okay, listen. All right, new plan. Act natural. Act natural. You've done nothing wrong. Hello.
Oh, it's you.
You know her?
It's been a long time. How have you been? I've been really busy being dead. You know, after you murdered me.
You did what? Oh no! No! Oh no! Ah!
Okay, look, we both said a lot of things that you're going to regret. But I think we can put our differences behind us. For science, you monster. I will say,
Kojo.
though, that since you went to all the trouble of
Oh
waking me up,
no,
you must
she's
really,
back.
really love to test.
We are
I love
almost
it
done
too.
with this
There's just
cutscene.
one small
As I
thing
mentioned
we need to
before,
take
it'll
care
be
of
the
first.
last before we get a lot of content. There's one more 20-second cutscene in the next map. That's just us falling into the, well, I guess you'll figure it out. But this map actually has a couple of interesting facets to it. First of all, it's kind of, I don't know if I'd call it a dialogue skip, but we're skipping a trigger, that makes it so you have to wait like 5 seconds before you can grab the dual portal gun. which we will be getting. Lets you shoot blue and orange. So as you can see, he kind of walks around instead of just going straight into the corridor. Then the rest of the map is just portaling around. Xinera, I believe, that was a pretty good incinerator. Not perfect, but it was pretty good. Here, just getting some dialogue because I mentioned before that less dialogue is better. However, there is a thing called awkward elevator, which for some reason, if you have no dialogue going into an elevator, I don't actually believe it's for all elevators, but for some elevators, if you have no dialogue, then you have to ride the whole elevator, and that takes about 30 seconds. It's not good. Anyway, now we're on chapter 2. She's gonna skip the whole map just by clicking to the end real nice and quick. Both of them pretty well. Looking at their times, I didn't actually look at their chapter 1 times, but it was in the 1420s, I believe, which is not really that good. It makes sense. We understand why it happened. I think they were relatively close, only like 5 seconds separating them. Interesting race in the making. As you can see, that's a funny exploit in laser stairs there. They just let that slip by in beta testing, apparently. Pretty fun. Coming up is another glitch. There's a lot of glitches to introduce. It kind of makes commentary a bit difficult. But this is called the laser switch glitch, where pretty much the game thinks that there are multiple. Actually, I think the explanation I've been using is kind of scuffed. Basically, you're having both of the laser receptacles be activated at the same time. I don't know exactly the cause of it, whether it's because of the laser or because of the receptacle. But either way, you're having both of them be activated by simply moving the portal from one to the other and use that to open the door and activate dialogue. Now, this map, there's quite a few routes to do. Kojo is going for the hard route. Xinera is going for an easy route. And Kojo got it first try. Wow, that saved him a little bit. Now, talk about what Kojo did, why it's hard. The mechanic I'm going to explain right now is not hard, but this specific one is hard. Pretty much, the mechanic's called a reportal. Basically, as I mentioned before, the game tries to push you out of portals when you're standing in them. We actually use that to get speed. And that, combined with a good hop, got him across the platform. You'll notice on this map that, ooh, that was kind of bad. You'll notice that, they place a camera on the button. The reason we do that is to activate dialogue, as per usual. Kind of strange that it does that, though. Not sure. I think that was the point. I think we're now at the point where I can calm down my commentary a little bit. So hopefully we can be a bit more lax about this. I kind of start talking fast when I do these commentaries because need stuff. See a nice little strafe Kojo did. Not really sure who's. I mean, Xinera's ahead, but that's because his timer is slower because his loads are longer. Let's see. RTA, they're right on top of each other virtually. Kojo's like half second behind. Pretty cool to see. Kind of unfortunate for the viewer, I think, because when something big happens, they're both doing it at the same time. But I guess it also means that a good race is happening, so take your losses. as you see them. This map, I know both players will be doing this. The reportal that Kojo did, we're gonna do more reportals, 3 to be exact,
I don't know what
if we're lucky.
Anyway, just an interesting science fact.
You want to just keep building speed vertically until you fling across. Kojo used a backup. Xinera actually got the triple reportal, but he bonked his head on the top. I think because he had. Oh, he did it. Ooh. That's not something I see every
Every
day.
test chamber is equipped with an
Usually, if you have your
amount
portal in the right place and you do the backup, you don't hit your head like that.
This one is broken.
I guess it just depends on what you do, but unfortunate. Yeah, not terrible time loss though. Neither of them lost more than 15 seconds. See here, an extremely basic map in Fizzler intro. Wonder if Xinera will do this secret strat. He will not.
Remember, I told
I
you
won't talk
about
about
the
the
one
secret
last
strat
test
then.
area that did not have one.
Ooh, Xinera messed up a little bit. Fizzler intro. But anyway, cojosao. There's a trigger at the top of this faceplate.
I have to
He's
go.
gonna activate it 3
Wait,
times
this
if
next
he's
test
lucky. If
does
not,
require some
yeah, he's trying to basically through a series of crouches and maneuvers. He's trying to hit the top trigger 3 times. The reason you want to do that is because of the fact that
It's me. I'm okay.
is the fact that you need to go up there 3 times in order to progress. So it's easier to just do it all in one. Or not easier, but it's faster to do it all in one. And now I think we can switch to Kojo. I believe he's officially ahead now.
Bird, right? Couldn't believe I. And then the bird.
That was a butchered explanation of the dialogue. I am so sorry. But anyway, the rest of the map is just some straight gameplay. I believe Kojo's gonna. He tried to go for the reportal, but he failed.
Look at you,
Xinera
sailing
not
through the
having a
air
good time. I
majestically,
think he's
like an eagle,
sticking with a
trying
single
to never
dialogue
move.
skip. Yeah, I believe so. Yes, that's what's happening. Kind of unfortunate that each failed dialogue loses about 15 seconds, which is why they save load in order to do it again and not just keep
Enjoy
going.
this next test. I'm going to go to the
Fatman,
surface.
you're doing great.
It's a
Thank
beautiful
you.
day out.
Thank you.
Yesterday I
I'm
saw
pretty
the
self
view.
conscious about my
But if you
commentary in
fall this
general.
next test, maybe
Good
I'll
to hear
let you
stuff like
ride an
that.
elevator all the way up to the break room. And I'll tell you about the time
So
I saw
Kojo
deer
about to
again.
set up for a really hot trick if it works. It almost worked. He actually got up there, but he needed the
Break
cube.
room. And I'll
It's a
tell
good
you
thing he
about the
can
time
back
I
it up
saw
just
deer
fine.
again.
And there you go.
Well, you
Pretty
passed
neat
the
thing
test. I didn't see the
overall.
deer today.
If you do it
I
really
did
good,
see
you can
some
have the
humans.
panel
But with
boost
you,
you
there
up
are
and you
more
can
test
just
subjects than I'll ever need.
land up there, which is pretty hot if you don't know about it. But what he did is a box bounce. He just had the cube stop him from flinging. Pretty simple. Not too hard either.
These
Xinera
ridges
got
are
it.
made from natural
Ooh,
light
and the
that I
cube
pump in
throw.
from the
Looked
surface.
good.
If you rubbed your cheek on one, it would be like standing outside with
Bridge
the sun
intro,
shining
very
on your
simple map.
face.
Should
It'll
have
also set
mentioned,
your hair on fire,
but
so
those
don't
last 2
actually
maps
do it.
are extremely difficult overall, and the map after the one they're on right now is also
Excellent.
extremely
You're a
difficult.
predator,
You have
and these tests are
4
your prey.
maps,
Speaking of which,
3 of
I was
which
researching
are
sharks for an upcoming test.
pretty viable to be
Do you
run
know who
killers.
else murders people who
I
are
guess
only
maybe
trying
not
to help
Ceiling
them?
Catapult,
Did you
which
guess
was the first
sharks?
one,
Because that's wrong.
in terms of
The
being a
correct
run
answer is
killer,
nobody. Nobody but you is
but
that
it
point-and-shoot
can do a
rule.
lot of damage to your run. And the other 2 can definitely kill your run completely. I've seen it.
Good news. I figured out what to do with all the money I saved.
So you saw why the
recycling your
blasts were hard.
one-room
This one's
4K.
hard
When you die, I'm
mainly
going to laminate
because
your
this
skeleton
B-hop
and pose you in the
is
lobby.
fairly
That way,
difficult.
future generations can
Got it
have
first
always
try,
learned how
which
not
is
to have
always
your
good to see.
unfortunate
Plus this
room
reportal.
structure.
Ooh,
Well done.
that was
In
clean
fact,
from
you did so
cojosao.
well. I'm going to note this
Like
on
the
your
look of
file
that.
in the commendation section.
So first of all,
Oh, there's lots
for
of
that
room
B-hop
here.
in the beginning, the
Good
door
work.
closes.
Enough.
It tries to close. So our goal is to B-hop before it closes, and we have like half a second window maybe. It depends on your hop pattern.
This next test involves
You'll see
toilets.
Xinera's a
You
close.
remember them, right? They're the pale spherical
If you have a
things that are
grasp
full
of
of
B-hop,
bullets.
that's pretty
Okay,
good. Not
that's
just
you
in
in
terms of
5
speed, but in terms
seconds.
of control.
Good luck.
It's pretty good, I'd say. The reportal, I'd say, is more random. Mainly because there's a lot of factors that go into it. But now we're on the simpler maps. You saw Kojo just kind of portaling around, hanging out. Xinera not having a good time. Yeah, Kojo's.
To maintain
I kind of
constant
expected
testing
this,
cycle, I simulate daylight at all hours and
but
add a
Kojosao's
2
developing
kg oxygen
a
supply, so you
firm
won't be
lead at this
confused about the
point,
passage of time.
despite the
The
fact
point
that
is,
his timer's
yesterday
moving
was your
faster.
birthday. I thought you'd want to know.
I think Xinera's issue right now is that he's trying to hop into the door,
Well,
and
I've
it's
been
not
working on a
working too
belated
well.
birthday present for you. Well, more of a belated birthday medical
Yeah, because he's
procedure.
not hopping in it.
Well,
I think
technically,
his hop
it's a medical
spacing is fine.
experiment.
I think if he just
What's
walked, he would probably
important
have
is
made a
it's a
couple of those.
present.
Maybe not all of them, but yeesh.
That jumpsuit you're wearing looks
No.
stupid. That's not me talking.
Coach
It's right
Sal
here in
going
my
to turret
file.
blocker. We're gonna
And
have the
other people,
turret.
it looks fine.
So
But
to
right
kind of
here, a
boost you.
scientist
This is
tells
the
me
only time it's done in
that
a
under
run.
you it
Ooh,
looks stupid. Well, what
he
does a neck-bearded
missed.
old
That didn't look
engineer know about
attractive.
fashion? He probably...
I did not like the look
Oh,
of
wait,
that mess
it's
up.
a she.
Unfortunate.
Still, what does she know? Oh wait, it says she has a medical
Xinera
degree
finally
in
making it
fashion
through.
from France.
Could bring it back
I'm
still
going through the list of test subjects in
if
cryogenic storage.
Kojo make
I managed
catastrophic
to find 2 with
meltdown,
your
and
last
it is
name.
possible.
A man and a
The
woman.
rest of the
So
game
that's
does not
interesting.
have a
It's a
lack
small
of dumb
world.
stuff that can lose you minutes. The the speedrun's not too easy in the high level, I would say.
I have a surprise waiting for you after this next test. Telling you would spoil the surprise. So I'll just give
Going
you
up
a
on
hint.
Kojo's end.
It involves meeting
More
two
straightforward
people I
maps.
haven't
Every map
seen in a
after
long
the
time.
Bridge to the Gap, which had the B-hop, is pretty easy. Or at least you're not going to lose more than 10 seconds unless you really mess up. Which, you know, can happen. It happens to me all the time on turd intro, but that's just because I'm not really that good. I mean, I'm not bad, but I mess up a lot of easy stuff. Okay. Cojosao approaching the last map of Chapter 3. Another really easy one. Although it is really possible, and it's basically luck whether it happens or not. You can just lose like 10 to 15 seconds here just by having the cube fall off the button. You can see what the main mechanic is. You have to drop the cube on the button. You can't even avoid that. That's the intended route.
In fact, we're
Pretty
headed to
silly.
your surprise right now. After all these years,
Xinera,
I'm getting choked up just thinking
his
about
port.
it.
Oh, I've had this before. Pay attention to Xinera's. His laser's bugged because the blue portal, it made it look like it was going through, but it wasn't actually going through. You hate to see it. I feel bad for him.
Initiating surprise.
That happened.
Three,
I think it happened to me in a
two,
PB run.
1.
I think it was like a early
I
104.
made it all up.
I PB'd with that kind of lasers, really.
Oh, come on.
But anyway,
If it makes you feel
Kojo,
any better, they abandoned you.
coming up on
So I very seriously
column
doubt they
blocker.
even want to
Chapter
see
4.
you.
This one, I hope he does it. I believe he has a very interesting skip coming up. First of all, this map itself is not easy. There's a good amount of stuff to do, and you could fail at any point. As you saw, the cube didn't go through his portal, so we needed to grab it again. Lost a bit of time on that. I'm pretty sure it's just random. But then there's this, dubbed either Jerry Skip or Dane Skip, depending on who you ask. The basic idea is that you clip through the bottom of the portal. This setup is actually mine. I'm gonna set up first try. Let's go.
How's it going? I taught
Maybe I shouldn't act like that, but it's always nice to see it happen first try. Because it doesn't always happen. Sometimes it takes a while. The column blocker itself was bad for him, but he made it up with the good Dane's Jerry's. I don't know what to call it anymore. Anyway, laser chaining. Relatively simple map. Wanna fling around with the cubes. Do a strafe at the end. He actually didn't make it up to the platform here. Lost a bit of time. But he recovered well enough. Not too severe.
Dilemma, and I came up with a solution that I honestly think works out best for one of both of us.
Xinera's about to approach his Dane or Jerry Skip. I'm just gonna call it Dane Skip. I feel like I'm obliged to do it now. Since Dane Skip saved my race versus AJ.
That's right. The facility. I think these test chambers look even better than they did before. It was easy, really. You just have to look at things
Kojo just there did another laser switch glitch, as I mentioned before, except instead of using two lasers with a portal, it's 3 with a cube, which makes it harder, but a bit of rapid flicking left and right
Not a fake
get you there.
like last time. A real surprise.
Jailbreak, pretty simple map. He's gonna try to get into this room as quick as possible, which he did successfully. Kind of not meant to be in here yet. You have to wait for it to open and a bridge to come out. Overall, a good jailbreak. How far ahead is cojosao? Someone just asked. Well, we'll look at the end of his. Look at the end of his chapter. Not his chapter. Map here. Kind of a bit of cheat bad B-hop at the end, but it wasn't too consequential. Here we see Xinera doing his Dane skip, by the way. I would estimate about 2 minutes behind Xinera is. Xinera being very particular about his position here. Hopefully he gets it first try. See, when I do Dane skip, I usually try to spend no more than like 8 seconds. No more than like 5 seconds on my position. Xinera got it. I think second try? Not too bad. Pretty good. But yeah, I tend to think that with how many variables they are, trying to fine-tune one variable in the setup doesn't really help. So why just kind of focus on going quick? But to each their own. Maybe it works better for him. It's different for everyone because it's a hard trick. Kojo beginning chapter 5, and there's 2 things to note. First of all, he goes above the level. This skips a 15-second cutscene in which we activates his light. Now that obviously means dark, which moves us on to the second thing, which is this command that Kojo has decided to make pink or purple. I don't actually know. Let me know if that's pink or purple in the chat. This was also allowed very recently, a couple of weeks before the change to the categories. Look up.
I almost got a job down here in manufacturing, but
it's basically a brightness command. It does stuff with the shadows, lets you see clearly. We allowed it mainly because there was actually multiple reasons. Because it was allowed in challenge mode, the individual level equivalent Portal 2, and because there's actually a noted bias in that some computers were just inherently darker. And while on most monitors you can just see in that level just fine, on some you just can't. Absolutely not. No matter what you do. With max brightness or gamma, although I think even just changing brightness or gamma is an issue in Windows 10. I'm not the most informed on the technical stuff. Alright, looking at the times, from jailbreak, Xinera's a minute and 40 behind. If you want an exact number. Now that will go up or down depending on how well Xinera does up to where Kojo is, but for now, we know he's less than 2 minutes behind. Ooh, and Xinera got a nice hop around the wall there. The wall there. Now Kojo setting up an interesting... Ooh. Kojo, he messed up there a little bit with the setup timing. But basically, if you want to grab 2 turrets here, the reason you do that is, for some reason, the defective turrets are very wonky. They have very weird physics when it comes to their collisions, and as a result, you can just... I think you messed it up. You can just fly upwards. Like that. Ooh, he messed up the straight. And he actually used the menu to load a save. That's weird. Very interesting thing overall. That was known for quite a while, but only like a couple years ago did we find a setup that was useful for SS. It's not easy. There's a lot of variables to consider. Very easy for it to just fly out from under your feet. Good thing he got it second try, although the RNG was bad. He probably lost like 15 seconds or so. But this trick saves like 30, so not too big of a deal. I haven't been paying too much attention to Xinera's screen. It looked like he was doing a pretty good job for the turret factory and escape. I obviously saw him do the hop effectively. We'll have to see his turret sabotage. Cojosao, this map, pure B-hop at the beginning, but overall it goes down to cycles. You'll see why it goes down to cycles. There's also a interesting shot that we do. This door, but you can just shoot right through the door. He didn't get it. But as you can see how it's cycle based because these portals are cycling through. I'd say that the reason that he didn't get the shot through the door there was because of the fact that he didn't use matte ambient light. Because matte ambient light makes that portal nice and clear. See, whereas without matte ambient light, I think you can't see it at all. Like, it's not even like it's hard to see. Like, I'm pretty sure you just can't see it. I think because of the fog mechanic. I don't even know if I'd call it a fog mechanic. It's a mechanic that makes the game very dim in far places.
I believed him. I don't know. I was a fool to myself. Oh, I'm loving this. Way another time. This place is huge. And we're only seeing the
I
top
have
layer.
a general
It goes down
breathing
for miles.
problem.
All
That's
sealed off years ago, of course.
probably why.
We should be getting close. Oh, I can't wait to see the look on her face.
I can't really do anything about that right now.
Hold on, because I might not have thought this next part completely. Ah! Well, I I'm going the wrong way. Get to her. I'll
I
find
can
you.
blow my nose real quick. We're on the cutscene mode again. Not much is gonna happen. After Xinera, I think he's messing up a lot in turret fact sabotage. I do not think that went well. Kind of unfortunate. Xinera just has neurotoxin sabotage, which is not much to say.
I
And
honestly, truly didn't think you'd fall for that. In fact,
again,
I
it's still
devised a
cutscene, so I'm
much
gonna
more elaborate
be
trap
right
further
back
ahead for
in
when you
like
got
2
to
minutes,
the
and then I
City
guess
If
if
I'd known
there's
that
any
your son had
questions
captured
about
this
anything that's
easily,
happened
I
thus
would have just
far,
dangled a turkey leg on
free
a
to
rope from
ask.
the ceiling.
I do
Well,
actually want
it
to
was nice
blow my
catching
nose
up.
just
Let's
because,
get to business.
not because of that comment,
I
but
hope
just
you built
because
something stronger than a
I do
portal
feel
gun
a
this
little bit
time.
off right now.
Otherwise, I'm afraid you're about to become the immediate past president of the Being Alive Club. Uh-huh. Seriously, though. Goodbye.
It's my big chance. This is trouble. Ah, not again. Here comes that. London lady. Oh, this ain't.
Oh, you were busy back there. Well, I suppose we could just sit in this room and glare at each other until somebody drops dead. But I have a better idea. It's your old friend, deadly neurotoxin. If I were you, I'd take a deep breath and hold it.
Hello.
I hate you so much.
Warning, central core is 80%
I don't know
complete.
if any of that was heard.
I don't
Hopefully it
feel
wasn't.
bad. In fact,
Alright.
I feel good.
Alternate core detected.
Oh, that's me they're talking about.
To initiate.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to commentate this section overall, just because like, nothing's happening.
Substitute core. Are you ready to
In this case, now they're both in cutscene mode, so I can't switch to the other person.
Oh, yes, you.
No,
Kind of the
no, 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 no,
benefit
no,
of
no, no.
having
Stalemate detected.
a race where there's a clear
Testing
winner.
procedure will not continue.
Yes.
Because when there's a clear winner, there's always someone doing something.
Stalemate resolution button.
Xinera would be in like chapter 4 if he was the alleged
Fast.
clear loser of the race, which I wouldn't say he is yet.
Stalemate resolved.
Here we go. Wait, what if this
But
hurts?
at the same
What if
time,
this
again,
really
take
hurts?
your losses
Oh,
because
let's
this is
Oh,
an
it
interesting
will.
race.
Believe me, it
Although
Are you-
the fact
are you
that
just
Kojo's
saying
2
that,
minutes
or are you-
ahead, it makes it a
Just
little
saying that, aren't you? You're just, no, you're not.
less
Exactly how
interesting. Although if Xinera comes back, that's a great race.
No! Stop! No! No!
And that possibility is not gone yet. Cojosao now preparing for, I believe, the biggest skip in the game. This is Big Pedro glitch or elevator skip. I'm just gonna call it elevator skip. I hate the other name. Basically, you get on top of this elevator. It tries to push you off, but you can just stay on it. Because they did a bad job on that front. They could have just made like a wall or something.
I'm a bloody genius now.
Estás usando este software de traducción de forma incorrecta.
I don't know why they just went with the push triggers and just kept fine.
Oh, sorry, no, the lift. Yes, sorry, keep forgetting.
But this skips a whole cutscene.
Seriously, I can't get over how small you are.
Maybe I won't talk about what happens in the cutscene, I guess. Although I guess it's kind of important if you want to make sense of anything else that happens in what you see from here. Second. Basically, Wheatley's not a good dude, and Kojo is not Kojo. Gladys is a potato. I apologize, Kojo. I did not mean for that. Whose idea even was cutscene maps? I mean, it's just story development. It's not really bad for a casual player. Casual player won't care. And games are obviously not built for speedrunners. Usually. Some games are. But this clearly isn't one of them. So I understand it.
Hey, just in case this pit isn't actually bottomless, do you think maybe
Just remember to land on one foot.
We're done now. Kojo is now ready to play the game again. And that's pretty much it for big cutscene areas. I guess the Finale 4 cutscene counts, but it kind of doesn't. Because you still have a lot of gameplay in that section. It's just start with cutscene. Kojo, now an old aperture. A hot section of the game. I like this section. To start with some sneaky portal shots. Kojo not doing too well to start. Really don't like the purple here, or pink, whatever. Gonna set up a long snipe here. It's quite a difficult one. At first try, not bad, pretty good. I say not bad as if you can do better than first try. You physically cannot do better for the first try, so I guess perfect. Now he's done with that. He's gonna wait for the ball. He's gonna kind of go into it earlier than you're supposed to, just kind of hopping around at the side of it. Pretty straightforward. And now, coming up for Kojo is hard map. This map is very easy. I wouldn't say hard. Very easy to mess up and lose a lot of time on. That's what I would say. That was already a time loss. He was meant to stay on the railing there. But there's two things to worry about in this map. The first one is that there's another really long shot. And this particular one's like really hard, generally speaking. Because you need to either be at the very corner of this railing to shoot it, or you need to jump out to shoot it. It makes it very daunting. Which is why I do the standing setup where you don't jump. Just because it's a little safer. You're more likely to get it relatively quick, or you'll be consistent with the speed at which you get it. The second thing he's doing is a reportal and descriptive momentum, both of which were first try. You know what a reportal is? A scripted momentum is basically when the game has a trigger. I don't know if it's actually. I think it's something similar to a trigger. It has a trigger that when you activate it with some sort of parameter being met, it locks your velocity to a particular state to help have flings be consistent, because these maps have a lot of long distance flings and they need that to make sure that people don't miss all the time. The scripted momentum is us abusing that in order to build speed when we're not supposed to. In that case, by going through a portal in a particular way. Jump intro, this map, probably my least favorite. Probably of any map, I'd say. I hate this map with burning passion. There's a lot to mess up. It feels like everything's like hard, but it's not supposed to be hard. And you lose 20 seconds really easily. I don't think I have a PB where I've saved or I've lost less than 5 seconds in Impulsion intro. Not fun.
We haven't entirely nailed down what element it is yet, but I'll tell you this, it's a lively one, and it does not likely...
He went through it relatively okay. Not too many hiccups there. Cube Clip is still not, I would say, not even close to being consistent enough to do runs. My breath just kind of stopped there. If that sounded weird, I apologize.
Let us know.
Kojo falling
Science spheres are made of
into
asbestos, by the way. Keeps out
the
the rats.
goo just by
Let us know
hopping
if
and
you feel
losing
a shortness of
control.
breath, a persistent
It's
dry cough,
unfortunate.
or your heart stopping. Because that's
Could talk about it. I guess an interesting note about this game, which you might have noticed by how they play,
You make
is
your own
that
rules, just
when
like
they
me.
go too fast, specifically at 300 units per second, they can't strafe reasonably. They can strafe. You can make movements left and right, but you can't do a sharp
There's a
turn,
slight chance the calcium could harden that
unlike
vitrifier
most
upon blow.
other
Anyway, don't
games with
stress
bunny
yourself
hop in them.
thinking about it. I'm serious. Visualizing the scenario while under stress actually triggers the reaction.
Never call any trick stepdad, please. I'm tired. I understand that there's a pun
Now,
to
if
be
you're
had
part
with
of
the
Control
name,
Group
but
Kepler
I do
7,
not
we
appreciate
implanted
it.
a tiny microchip about the size of a postcard into your skull. Most likely you forgot to
Crazy
do that.
Box
But if it
is
starts
a
vibrating and
nice
beeping
map.
during this next
Well,
test,
Kojo is
let us
on.
know. Because that means it's about to hit
Got a
500
long
degrees.
shot. Got a weird glitch where you break some glass by bonking your head. You're not supposed to do that. I don't actually know what even allows that to happen. You're supposed to have the cube break the glass by bouncing around. And then you have a nice little fling. Interesting note about it, there is actually a command that's pertinent here called SV player funnel into portals. It basically means that if you have it enabled, when you are falling towards a portal, it kind of locks you into place and keeps you there, so you're falling straight down into the portal, and that's to avoid either missing the portal or flinging in a weird direction. In that case, we wanted to fling in a weird direction, so we turned it off. It's an important note.
Congratulations.
Kojo,
The simple fact you're standing here listening to me means you've made a
Kojo,
glorious
before I answer that question, I'd like to ask if you're joking or not. Not because I think you should know it, but because I think it's such a strange question that I can never be sure. Just what is a stepdad? Xinera's
Say goodbye, Carolyn.
stream froze up a little bit.
She is
Froze up a lot,
I'm
actually.
James
Usually,
Johnson, CEO
did
of
his
Amateur
stream
Science.
close? Actually, that
You
might
might
be
know
an
us as a
issue.
vital participant in the 1968 Senate hearings on missing astronauts. And you've most likely used one of the many products we invented, but that other people have somehow managed to steal from us.
Okay, stepdad is basically a button glitch. I definitely forgot to talk about it before. So first of all, Kojo's about to do a really the tightest shot in the game, followed by a reportal. But
Compensation vouchers ready?
stepdad is a button glitch. It's a type of button glitch. A button glitch is when you get immediately on and immediately off a button in order to keep it activated.
War hero and or Olympian?
It's just a very particular
This on?
type of that.
Hey, listen up down there. That thing's called an
And the reason it's
elevator,
called
not
stepdad
a bathroom.
is because you make step and the inputs you put are DAD. I hate how well that works. Especially because stepdad is such a joke in the community that I don't even want to talk about.
If you're interested in an
So
additional
annoying. I hate it.
$60, flag down a test associate and let them know. You
But
can
here we go, cojosao.
weighing down your bindle if you let
Here's one of the least explained glitches. He just messed up completely. When I say least explained, I mean I don't actually think anyone knows fully why it happens. The gel, it just kind of yeets you forward. Yeah, Xinera's gone. Um,
So that's a complete reassembly. New vitals, spit shine on the old ones, plus we're scooping out tumors. Frankly, you ought to be
I'm
paying.
gonna, okay. I'm not sure if I have actually any control in order to do anything with Xinera. But that's a deep freeze, I would say. Usually, these types of freezes don't last that long. It's absolutely not better than Dane Skip. I no. I mean, as a name, yes, I guess it is technically better.
many of you I realize welcome to the enrichment.
but I also hate it.
So don't go
And
spending it all on.
there's actually a particular reason I prefer name skip.
For all employees, the quality of our test subjects has risen dramatically. Employee retention, however,
Yeah, it's a physics trick. The gel fling.
you may have heard we're going to phase out
You
human.
can do this in real life.
Still a few things
If you have blue gel, the only reason people haven't found it yet is because people haven't invented blue gel yet.
The moon rocks, much less 70 million. Bought 'em anyway. Round 'em up, mixed 'em into a gel. And guess what?
Kojo's gonna set up another reportal here. This map's pretty easy overall. I think, don't tell me that cojosao lost time to reading chat. I believe that's exactly what just happened there.
Can somehow leach the lunar poison out of a man's
I find it weird that Kojosao is doing the reportal now. Usually people fling once before doing it.
somehow leach the lunar poison out of a man's bloodstream. When life gives you lemons, make lemons. Bloodstream. When life gives you lemons, make bloodstream. When life gives you lemons, make lemonade. Let's all Let's all stay positive. Do some science. That said, I would really appreciate it if you could test as fast as possible. Carolyn, please bring me more pain pills. Alright, I've been thinking. When life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Make life take the lemons back. Get mad!
Alright.
Damn lemons!
Kojosao spent a lot of time on that reportal, I just realized. I just spent the past like 30 seconds doing restream stuff, and he was still on it. Unfortunate. But it looks like, although people are probably reading chat, but it looks like gonna DQ. So good job to Kojosao, I guess. He's probably gonna keep going anyway. Alright, I guess disconnected. Oh, that's not how that works. That's unfortunate. Alright, forfeit. We'll just call it there. Alright. So Kojosao is going to set up another very broken mechanic. You trick the game into thinking you're falling when you're not, and in doing that, you fall down really quickly, convert that to falling up really quickly, and you go. As you saw there, the first time he didn't get to shoot the portal up there, second time he did, and he's going to go for the second, which is good to see. Although we did learn recently that it only saves 1 second if you do optimal strats for both doing it and not doing it. Although there technically is an even more optimized strat that wasn't considered for doing the stuck launch, but I'm pretty sure it's not friendly at all for full game. As you can see, you have the second stuck launch.
For God's sake, your boxes with legs. It's literally your only purpose. Walking onto buttons. How can you not do the one warmer? Warmer. Boiling hot. Okay, colder, ice cold. You're Arctic now. You're very cold. Very, very, very cold. Look, just get on the button.
Alright,
That's funny, isn't
we're
it?
gonna
That's funny.
call that
Because we've
resolved.
been
I
at this
don't
for
think we
12
can
hours, and you
actually
haven't solved it either, so I don't know why you're
do
laughing.
anything about the fact
Whatever.
that
Solve it.
Xinera is there, just frozen. Kojo now doing one of the last hard tricks, I'd say,
Ah, yes.
which
I
is the
knew you'd
cube
solve it.
throw. He got the bad one where you're against the door, but you still don't get the trick.
Ah, yes.
Basically,
You have
when you
no
place
idea
a
what it's like in this
cube on the
building.
button,
I have to test all the
a
time,
panel
or I get
rises
this
up, which prevents
itch.
you
You know,
from
it must
going
be
through the door.
hardwired into the system.
In doing the cube throw, however, will
But I
be
tell you,
at the
when I
door,
do
so the panel
test,
isn't an issue.
oh man alive, nothing feels better. It's
It
just
saves
that
like 40
satisfying.
seconds if done
I'm gonna
right.
test. So you're gonna test, and I'm gonna watch.
And I'd say that's like the last hard trick, just because everything else kind of comes down
Already
to.
doing this test.
I wouldn't say any of it's hard.
Oh,
Obviously, there's stuff that's
yeah.
easy to lose
Oh,
time
that
to,
felt really good.
but I wouldn't
Oh,
call it any of it
here's an idea.
hard.
Since making tests is so difficult, why don't you just keep solving this test?
Well, I guess Moonshot might be hard, but that's at the very end of the run. It's like 15 seconds, so it's not big.
Nothing. Alright, can't blame you for trying. Okay, new tests.
Let's see,
New
cojosao
tests. Gotta be some tests.
playing around. One day we'll find a way to skip going through that room twice. But not today. But yeah, now that the results are decided, unfortunately, I totally understand, Xinera, don't worry. Take a look at the bracket. Up next for cojosao Legacy is to race Paraculus,
Not entirely. Not
who
entirely.
has a 102 PB.
That's brand new.
I don't know how practiced he is, though. I'm curious to see the results of that race, but I believe Pero should win. The other race to look forward to are actually there's only that race, Kojo versus Pero, and me versus Betsruner. There's also technically Sushi versus Zaipe, but I believe the people in the winners bracket are waiting explicitly for us to get to top.
Jammed them all together. Buttons, got funnels.
You know what? I completely. I was talking about other things over the most broken glitch in the game.
Oh yeah.
Funnel fly.
Well done.
You can crouch in a funnel, and for some reason, it lets you keep a fly state. And you can preserve that state through either a save load or through going to a next map. And in that, you can just go wherever you want. And then at this point, it becomes really important to make sure you don't soft lock yourself, because soft locking goes from being kind of an accomplishment to dangerously easy under funnel fly. Always gotta watch out for that. However, the game's routed well enough. Shouldn't happen if you're attentive. As you see, he's just flying around. He just lost fly. That was not good at all. He's gonna give himself fly again. Yeah, he is. Okay. Good. He didn't want to lose fly there. There's a couple ways to lose fly. If it's on the map that you got it on and you didn't save load, the ways to get rid of funnel fly is to, I don't know why I'm blanking here. Change your crouch state, or to remove the source portal. And if you preserve the cube fly, or the, why am I flustered right now?
Here it comes.
I apologize greatly for this. If you preserve the funnel fly, then the only way to lose the funnel fly is to enter a new funnel. Now, when you preserve, you lose your connection to whatever funnel you got it from. So that includes the portal you got it from if you save load.
Apparently, being civil isn't the. It's not enough. If I'm such a
And
moron, why can't
the
you
whole
see
idea
this
actually
little
poses a
test?
couple issues because, as you can tell, the ways you lose funnel fly changes depending on whether or not you load a save. And that's a problem because this is no save load abuse, and you could potentially abuse by doing that. The ruling we decided is that as long as you don't do something that would normally cancel your fly,
Oh, sorry. I hope that didn't disturb you too
uh,
much. It was the sound of books.
but
Pages
didn't
being
because of a
turned.
save,
So just what I was
then
doing.
you're
Just reading,
fine. As long as you don't abuse it,
books.
basically.
So not a moron. Anyway, just finish the last one. Just now the hardest
Kojo
one, Machiavelli.
doing
Do not
the
know what all the fuss was about.
shot on the
Just
grate,
didn't
always
think. You remember
fun.
that one? Yeah,
I
doubt
believe
it.
we're calling it a
What
great
was that?
shot.
Wish there was more books.
I,
With it not.
I believe the consensus is great shot. I think there's a couple of Portal Cut people, although Portal Cut is not a good name. I don't think Great Shot's a good name either, but whatever. More dialogue. We're gonna get Funnel Fly some more on this next map. Actually, wait, no, it's Stop the Box. The forgettable map of Chapter 8. As you see, I just completely forgot about it for a second. This is pretty straightforward. Grab the cube as it's flying, and then just put it on the cube. Put it on the button. We're not putting cubes on cubes here. We're putting them on the buttons. I need to brain better. That was a weird double dialogue. I usually don't hear that. I think you just timed it really well somehow. It's really cold right now. Even though it's May. I don't know why. Now he's gonna get a funnel fly. This is kind of a weird one. And this is kind of a route which has changed a couple of times. Since we actually started preserving fly like this. We used to just not preserve the fly into the next map, which is laser platform. Then we realized, hey, that's actually really fast. We should probably do that. So we found a couple of ways to do that. Here, you'll see the benefit. I like this loss to benefit much more than the previous ones you saw from Funnel Intro to Polarity. Even though there's that one map where you just fly to the end straight up with no side effects. As you can see here, he's gonna do something interesting here. He's gonna actually use the portal as a sort of, I guess, seesaw. I'm trying to think of the mechanical term for it. Gonna have the cube. Gonna have the cube bend up towards the laser receptacle. Not doing too well. There's kind of a setup for this. I think he didn't. He's not thinking. Yeah, he's not thinking about the setup. Yeesh. My setup is usually to be vertically on that second line. I can't really explain what that means. As you can see here, he's gonna strafe along the funnel. It's a lot faster to fly than it is to be in a funnel, just because the funnel locks your speed. While flying, you can continue strafing. Strafing just slows you down in a funnel. It'd be great if you just could strafe through a funnel. It would be kind of complicated for vertical stuff, but horizontally it makes perfect sense. This map is pretty straightforward. Another fly to the end. Kojo really losing his mojo. What? God, I hate myself. It's not doing too well. This map's actually kind of interesting. It's one of the few maps in the game where there's ties for first.
Oh, I did find something.
Ooh, he did not want to land with that.
Surprise for you two.
I
Seriously.
don't even know
look
what you
forward to it.
call that. I guess that's a form of. I guess that's supports or scat. Did not want to do that. Oh no. It's not good, but yeah, this is one of the few maps where there's a lot of ties, and that's mainly because a trick that you can do that is not possible in full game
On you go. I'll be honest.
completely breaks everything.
I had lost it when poking around for other test subjects. No luck
There you
there.
go,
We
he's
still
good
did.
now.
Oh, I did find something though. Reminds me, I've got a big surprise for you two. Seriously, look forward to it.
This is another awkward elevator, but the dialogue that you try to get here, which he didn't get because he just flustered completely, it's really long, so he only loses. Theoretically, you can save time by doing that, but you have to go really fast, and I don't think that happened here. But he didn't lose a lot of time by not activating dialogue.
Sorry, my fault.
As we're going into repulsion polarity, we're on our last fly preserve, and definitely the biggest of them all. The oldest of them all, too. This is like the other ones we've done. I mean, we used fly forever on those maps, or on a couple of those maps, but we didn't really preserve it through map until like 3 years. I'm gonna say 3 years ago. However, this route's just ancient. Really early on. I'd say as early as 2012. I don't actually know that for a fact, but it probably is the case.
I'll bet you're both dying to
There's
know
an interesting
what
fact
your
about
big
Funnel Fly.
surprise
It was
is.
found on the day of
Two more
launch
chambers.
of Portal 2. They found out that you can just fly. The most broken glitch was found the day after release. Meanwhile, shooting under the level in Fizzler intro was found in the last 10 months. Kind of silly when you think about it. Especially because they're both extremely simple, but they happened like 8 years apart. Seven's a better number. Yeah. As you can see here, cojosao just flying across the map. It's kind of interesting because you'd note just how well everything comes together in order to make
I've
Funnel Fly
decided I'm not gonna
possible.
kill you.
Like, for
Okay?
example,
If you come back.
that being slanted, the railing being slanted down. I think he lost control and he's going to fly off. Yeah. As I mentioned before, you can't have much control after 300 units per second, and that becomes extremely important when you have fly, because that means you can't stop moving forward.
Oh, I've got an idea. Yes, in your
Uh,
face. I got.
Fine. It was not a good run for him, I would say. Not terrible. I'm looking at it right now. This is probably a mid to late 110,
I'm almost there.
and I think I know Kojo to do better.
Don't mind me.
It's actually interesting. I'm wondering if Xinera could have come back if he was able to continue playing. Because Kojo had a pretty bad late game. It's kind of unfortunate that we couldn't really see the results of that because of the stream disconnect and then the DQ. Just getting more, getting around. I don't know if Kojo's actually gonna do this or not, but you can. He's gonna see all those turrets trying to kill you. It's just straight right through them.
Hello?
If you want to be less brave, you can put the turrets to sleep because when you put them to sleep, then they take 3 seconds more to start locking on to you, which means you can have one more time to do that. Kojo went for the man's route by just going all for it, and he got a first try. Pretty solid. One more pure fly map to go. It's probably the easiest of all of them, I'd say. Going to get up, get down, to get back up, to get down. He's just gonna strafe to the end here, and he's gonna touch this funnel to lose fly. That was kind of wonky, but wasn't too consequential. I've seen worse happen to people like me. And now he's on the last level of the game. He cannot. Definitely cannot. I think it's a 111, an early 111. Looking at the times, I think you would need to get double bomb preserve in order to not to get a 110. So yeah, big boss fight. Another 1.5 minute cutscene. Couple more minutes of gameplay, and then we're done.
Well.
Not gonna lie, I'm more tired than I thought I was. Kind of regret doing this, but I also kind of did not, because this was an interesting race before Xinera had to leave. But I had fun overall. Let me know what you guys thought. Yeah, I'm really tired. I just want to stretch. Holy. Get through it. Doesn't help that this is just pure cutscene, so I can't really talk about anything to distract myself from this unfortunate fact.
And turn off the neurotoxin. I'm joking, of course. Goodbye.
Neurotoxin level at capacity in 5 minutes.
Here we go. The gameplay now begins. He's gonna start, hopefully, by preserving a bomb. I don't think he is. Wait, I can't tell. Yeah, he is preserving a bomb. Because he shoots 3 bombs. You only need 1 to hurt him. So you can just keep the other 2 in storage by flinging them around. I don't know why he did that. Fling them around, and in doing that, you can use them in order to hit weekly later. There's one issue that comes from this though, and that is bad ending. Now, the setup for bad ending is to have Wheatley bug out and continue shooting bombs even after he's been hit. And once that happens, he does not stop shooting bombs. I mean, there's that cycle where he shoots bombs, waits like 10 seconds, then shoots bombs again. But you can't stop that from happening. And in doing that, if you don't specifically wait for a specific timing with the bombs, you will die in the cutscene. In the end cutscene, after everything's been said and done, and your run's invalid unless you reset. He didn't get it, fortunately, and he got everything he needed. Now we're just waiting. Last trick in the game, moonshot. All it is that in this last room that you'll see him go into with the button. That's kind of daunting. In this last room, once you're in the room, the moon shot, because you shoot a moon at the end of the game, that shot trigger spawns in as soon as you go in there, and you can shoot it from inside that room. See if he does it. He tried. He is trying. He didn't get a first try. I don't like how he doesn't have a bind for that. He clearly has a bind for save. Why doesn't he have a bind for load? That stresses me out. I think he's shooting too high. He gave up. It's fine. It didn't technically matter. Now he's gonna just shoot the moon as he normally would. Bada bing, bada boom. 111.44. Not bad. Good game.
Space! Ah! Ah!
I'm gonna go for the interview. I'm not sure if it really matters entirely, but okay, we're doing it.
Let go, I'm still connected! I can pull myself in! I can still fix this!
I already fixed it, and you are not coming back.
Oh no! Change your plans! Hold on to me! Tighter! Ah! Grab me! Grab me!
Alright. So let me just grab the link for my dudes. I should mark Kojo is done. Let's. I'm a little lost currently. Wait. Okay. Navigating all my stuffs. Why did I hold on? I'm being stupid right now. Give me 1 second and the interview will begin. What am I doing? Here we go. Hello. So first of all, congratulations on the win. I guess technically
Thank you. Yeah, it was
didn't
really
earn it,
hard.
but you know, just being here is good enough. Unfortunately, Xinera had to leave on account of a
Yeah, that's
stream
such a shame.
issue, disconnect.
That's such a shame.
Can't really
yeah.
do anything about that.
Yeah, if he was able to stick around, I bet he
You-
would have beaten
You
me.
did do really poorly on the late
Yeah.
game, I would say.
Very,
Do you
very.
have any general comments on your run? I mean, obviously there's that, but
Yeah, well, I haven't really played since my last race, so I
I
mean,
don't think Xinera has either, to be fair.
I played Bridge the Gap a little bit earlier today, and then I was
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm ready. So that's
That's all you need.
Yeah, that, I mean that's really the hardest thing. So yeah, chapter 8 and 9 really bad. Obviously, I kind of forgot what I was doing a lot of the time. I also feel like I tend to play better with pressure, so I don't know. Maybe I was just like, well, I just need to finish. But yeah,
I guess that's probably the case. You weren't really pressured for a lot of the later game in the race. After Xinera lost a lot of time on Bridge the Gap, it was kind of
Mhm.
just. It wasn't decided, obviously, but it was pretty stacked. I guess
yeah,
I would
is that
say.
the one? Yeah, my Bridge of the Gap was actually really smooth.
Yeah, I like that. I commented on that. Good work on that.
Thank you.
The practice paid off. It's too bad you didn't practice anything else.
the 10 times I did that map before just starting the race.
But yeah,
Now to practice
Guess-
every single other map.
guess that'll be it basically. Talk quickly about the next races. So that's it for the losers top 16 and the top 16 in general.
Oh, cool.
Now we're on the losers top 8, which I believe you're the only one who needs to finish a race for.
Oh, good. Alright.
So yeah, you guys were pretty far behind.
Oh, yeah. I see. I'm playing Pero.
You're
Oh, that one.
playing Heraculous.
I know who will win
Yeah.
that one.
I mean, interesting. It depends on what you do, because I don't think Pero practiced at all. But Pero's also a pretty good player, just generally.
Yeah.
See what happens. Winner of that plays Gold Dust. And after that, we're on the... Oh, wait, did I mess it up? Wait. Okay.
No, I think you're right. What are you looking at?
Okay, Okay, the one of the losers top 8. I'm looking at the headings for the on the challenge for the actual what sections we're on, the top 8 to the
Mhm.
top that, and
Mhm.
since there's a losers top 8 qualifiers and losers top 8, I got kind of confused because there's 8 people in the losers top 8 qualifiers.
Yeah, but there's
And
only
there's 4
in the
people
next
in the
one.
losers top 8. I think that's just because it includes the winners bracket. So actual top 8 is after your next race.
Oh, gotcha.
But you're still going to be in the losers top 8,
Yeah.
which I believe would put you at 13th place.
That's not bad. That's pretty. That's
Not
like
bad.
where I am on the leaderboard. So
Good.
sounds about right.
But yeah, other races to look forward to. Me versus Betsrunner. I don't think Game Sushi versus Zaipe is going to happen until losers catches up completely. And yeah, I guess that'll be it. Do the commands. Make sure give the runners a follow. If you want to give the commentators some respect, that would be nice too.
Yeah,
And
nice commentary. Doing good.
thank you. And beyond that, not really much else to say. Guess that's it. Make sure to tune into other speed gaming events. I don't actually know what else is going on right now. Stay
Kirby
tuned.
Going
for
on,
other
I
stuff.
think right now actually. Usually
And-
something's going on. I don't know.
Yeah. It'll be it. I will see you all in the next one.